Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, scholars and dignitaries, welcome to another episode. Welcome to my world.
Hello, friends. So, as most people know and understand, there are several different economic models practiced throughout the world. Many countries follow communism, a system originally meaning for the community, but in actual practice, it's an economic system of state ownership of economic resources, policies, property, and means of production. On the surface, it states some advantages like doing away with different classes and joint ownership of all property and businesses and industries, but it also has a strong political ideology that stands against democracy, against private ownership of money and property, and it has a strong revolutionary basis that, to be honest, is distasteful and untrustworthy to most respectful citizens, and finally, communism is just not a good model to perpetuate economic growth and development in a country. Most countries practice capitalism, an economic model which is based upon the precepts of free trade, free markets, is profit-driven, allows for private ownership and control of resources and production means, and is based upon a labor-owned system of work, which hopefully allows for promotion and monetary advancement for those who work harder and are more productive. Capitalism also rewards anyone who believes they can open and own their own business by giving them the respective opportunities. However, it seems that as of late, many people have chosen to reject capitalism to support a third type of economic model, socialism. Like communism, socialism is for community or communal ownership of businesses and industry and favors governmental ownership and control. It claims to engage in social welfare initiatives to ensure equitable distribution of wealth and equal opportunities for all. But to be perfectly honest, this actually discriminates against others who actually may work harder and are more qualified workers, and it denies people who otherwise would deserve promotions and advancements because they are better workers. With socialism, government controls everything in the economy, and although it seems pleasant to say that the good of the many outweigh the good of the few or the one, in practice socialism, like communism, is contraindicated for a stable and developing economy. Now, most people are against communism because of the historical atrocities it has caused and the notion of complete government control. And while people enjoy the fruits of capitalism and the finding that it is the preferred economic system that brings large groups of people out of deprivation and poverty and allows them to evolve as productive individuals enjoying a higher standard of life, a growing number seem to be confused, and they truly don't understand the nuances of socialism. So here is a famous example that was true, and not only shows the long-term results of socialism in real time, but also shows how it causes a lot of suffering, especially to this one class of college students. An economics professor at a local college made a statement that she had never failed even one single student before, but had recently failed her entire class. The class had insisted that socialism worked, and in such a socialist society, no one would be poor and no one would be rich, so it would be a great equalizer. The professor said, "Okay, we will have an experiment in this class on this plan. All grades will be averaged and everyone will receive the same grade, so no one will fail or no one will receive an A." The intent was to substitute grades for dollars, something that would be more readily understood by the students and something that would be closer to home and actually affect them in this experiment. After the first test, the grades were averaged and everyone got a B. But the students who studied hard were upset, and the students who studied very little were happy. As the second test rolled around, the students who had studied little had studied even less, and the ones who studied hard decided that they wanted a free ride too, so they studied little. The second test average was a D, and no one was happy. When the third test rolled around, the average was an F. As the tests proceeded, the scores never increased, but what did increase was bickering, blame, and name-calling, and it all resulted in hard feelings, and no one would study because it would mean the benefit of everyone else as well. To their great surprise, All students failed that course, and the professor told them that this is socialism, and that socialism would also ultimately fail because when the reward is great, the effort to succeed is great. But when government takes all the reward away, no one will try or want to succeed. These are possibly the 5 best sentences you'll ever read and are all applicable to this experiment. First, you cannot legislate the poor into prosperity by legislating the wealthy out of prosperity. Second, what one person receives without working for, another person must work for without receiving. Third, the government cannot give to anybody anything that the government does not first take from someone else. Fourth, you cannot multiply wealth by dividing it. And fifth, when half the people get the idea that they do not have to work because the other half is going to take care of them, and when the other half gets the idea that it does no good to work because somebody else is going to get what they work for, that is the beginning of the end of any nation. Socialism is one of those theories that looks good on paper, but when you apply it in the real world, it fails miserably. Hey, be safe, be well, and may God bless you and your families.